Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle.
Let's see. Here we go. Devin Nunes is incredulous. They would have impeached George Washington.
I'll remind my friends on the other side of the aisle that our first president, George Washington, directed his own diplomatic channels to secure a treaty with Great Britain. If my Democratic colleagues were around in 1794, they'd probably want to impeach him too.
Oops. And that's what it comes down to. These deep state people are upset with Donald Trump dictating their own policy.
Right.
All right. Here's a Jim Jordan clip.
Jimmy.
Started before the inauguration, even before the election. The ranking member talked about this. His opening statement, July 2016. FBI opens an investigation, so-called Trump-Russia coordination, collusion, which was never there. Opened an investigation, spied on 2 American citizens associated with the presidential campaign. My guess is that's probably never happened in American history. But
we do have an FBI agent who has been indicted for altering a document in the FISA abuse of Carter Page. That's out today.
They did it. And for 10 months, Jim Comey's FBI investigated the president. Guess what? After 10 months, they had nothing.
Donald Trump tweeted out, "Firing Comey was the best thing I ever did. Could you imagine if I had kept him on?"
No.
Yeah, actually.
Why we know that? Because when we deposed Mr. Comey last Congress, he told us they didn't have a thing. No matter. Special Counsel Mueller gets appointed, and they do a 2-year, $40 million, 19-lawyer, unbelievable investigation. And guess what? They come back, and they got nothing. But the Democrats don't care.
Exactly zero.
So now we get this. Bunch of depositions in the
bunker, in the bottom, in the basement of the building.
Poor Jimmy not playing.
It's okay. We make them. Jimmy, 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 gimme Jimmy tonight. Getting back
Truth
here.
is, the attacks actually started before.
Hang on.
Before the inauguration, before.
We're at like 1:20. Here we go.
Witnesses who aren't allowed to answer questions about who they talked to about the phone call. We get this. All based on some anonymous whistleblower, no firsthand knowledge, bias against the president. These facts have never changed. We learned these right away. Who worked with Vice President Biden, who wrote a memo the day after somebody talked to him about the call, but waited 18 days to file a complaint. 18 days to file a complaint. What did he do in those 18 days? We all know. Ran off and talked with Chairman Schiff's staff. And then hired the legal team that I just talked about. One of the steps in the whole impeachment coup, as his legal team has said. This is scary what these guys are putting our country through. It is sad, it is scary, it is wrong.
Yep.
And the good news is the American people see through it all.
Yep.
They know the
good
facts
news.
are on the president's side. As Representative Stefanik said, 4 facts will never change.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Oh my God.
So here is Donald Trump tweeting this out.
Charade. Just 10 days after President Trump was inaugurated, the whistleblower's lawyer Mark Zaid wrote that the coup has started and impeachment will follow. That's right. The whistleblower's own lawyer wrote the coup has started and impeachment will follow. They promised a coup, and now they're trying to carry it out. The Democrats are trying to overthrow President Trump, undo the 2016 election, and silence our voices. Don't let them. I'm done.
I love it. I love it.
I approve this message.
This is, I gotta tell you guys, and so to take a cue from Jim Jordan, and here's the good news. I couldn't be more excited about, the Bible says that God takes the weapons that your enemy tries to use against you and turns them back on them. That's what we are seeing here.
Great one.
And these people are going to be so exposed. Rather, they should have just bided their time. You know why they couldn't?
Naked and afraid.
Because everybody but AOC is old. And if they wait for Trump for the end of his 2 terms, they'll be has-beens and their power will have been gone, okay? Because I was thinking while I was cleaning the deck today, you know, it used to be politics was kind of like a little bit of a game. And if your opponent lost, then you were happy, right? But at the same time, you understood that they may beat you the next time. Now, if your opponent won, you're sad, but you don't want to win by cheating, okay? You want it to be fair and square.
Unless you're Lyndon Johnson.
But my point is, most Americans are actually thinking to themselves with this impeachment process, most Democrats, I should say, are probably going, can we just let them have their win for a second? I mean, we had Obama for 2 terms. All right, we had Clinton for 2 terms. It goes back and forth. It's what it does. Most Americans are fine. They had Bush. That's good. Most Americans are fine with the other side winning. We can handle it.
The last person that any sort of Republican or conservative had was Reagan. Everybody else was
deep state
leftist.
But my point is, like, this used to be kind of like, oh, it's fine. Just wait your turn. We'll try and get them next time. We'll get them at the next election. And it makes it fun, right? To see if we can get them in the middle. Like if we have a 1 term, we stopped them at 1 term. You know, like the people that voted against John Quincy Adams. All right, we stopped them at 1 term.
Okay, so the great one, Mark Levin.
But they can't. They're terrified.
He sums everything up.
Various times. This is what you do. This is your wheelhouse. Constitutional law. You have a lot to add to this national nightmare they're creating.
I'm still getting through the Mueller report here, actually. We spent years and years on the Mueller report and $40 million and congressional hearings and Mueller, and they connected the dots and they found all kinds of. I'm still on page 397 of the Mueller report, and then they throw Ukraine at us. It's hard to keep up, Sean. Anyway, after we were attacked at Pearl Harbor, Admiral Yamamoto of Japan, he said, "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve." You know, Adam Schiff, you are in some ways Admiral Yamamoto. You just awakened a sleeping giant. You threw everything you had.
Which wasn't much.
At the president, at the Republicans, at 63 million voters who voted for this president. And this is the best you have? This is the best you have? You have nothing. And you controlled everything. You controlled the witnesses. You controlled the information. You interrupted the Republicans. You had control over the hearing room, control over the rules and the timing and the press events. And you'll have control over the charging document. You're the Democrat Party's Yamamoto. And even now, with all the control that you've had, and all the positive press, and all the clownish legal analysts and the rest, and the propaganda that they're pushing, and they're selling.
When I do the shifty eyes, he doesn't always do that. He only does it when there's something going on. Like, it's really creepy, because if you look at his face right here, he doesn't have it. But then when other people in the Republicans are talking, he's just like,
it's the Hillary Clinton thing. I'm telling you, it's the bug that they have put in their brains when they're trying to listen and be controlled. It's the Mark Zuckerberg thing.
It is.
And they kind of go
celebrating.
Yeah.
The polls for Donald Trump are going up.
They are.
Now, once the Senate has control over this, there's no more Adam Schiff control. There's no more Nancy Pelosi control. There's no more of the mobster types that we saw in the Democrat Party, preening and beating their chests. And the American people, they revere their Constitution.
Yes.
They cherish their franchise. And they demand fairness from their representatives. And let me tell you something, Democrats. You screwed up big time. This was the weakest conga line of hand-picked witnesses I've ever seen in any hearing at any time. There's no smoking gun. Overwhelmingly hearsay. Basically, what did we have here? A small cabal of State Department and NSC bureaucrats who didn't like Trump or his policies. Yet every single one of them, when pressed by the Republicans, had to admit no bribery, no extortion, no quid pro quo, no impeachable offense. And the media thought, wow, with headlines that are incomprehensible. Not a single witness could or did accuse the president of criminality. Only a single witness had directly spoken with or met with the president about any of these issues. And he said, no, the president didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. We look at Ukraine. We're getting these lectures from the witnesses and the Democrats. Ukraine needed the aid. They needed offensive military aid. We need it for geopolitical reasons. Their witness today, Fiona Hill, she was just, I can't believe the president did this. Look what he's doing. He's empowering the Russians. And she wrote a few years earlier a long op-ed saying, don't give the Ukrainians the military aid they're asking for. As a matter of fact, the Democrats and their great leader, Barack Obama, he refused to give Ukraine the offensive military weapons they were looking for. So despite all these bureaucrats testifying, they couldn't get the weapons that Ukraine wanted under Obama. There were no hearings. There were no headlines. It was Trump who got the Ukrainians the weapons that they needed. It was Trump who stopped the Russians. It was Trump who put the most severe sanctions in modern history on the Russians. It was Obama who appeased the Russians. It was Obama under whose presidency the Russians invaded Ukraine and annexed Crimea. If you want to impeach, then we need to retroactively impeach
Wouldn't that be
Obama.
so great?
Now this will move
I would
to
love
the United
that.
States Senate.
Oh,
Let's
can
hope
we do
the
that?
Republicans, for once in their life, grow a spine. I want to remind the Republicans, including the half dozen or so, who were not, we cannot reveal the whistleblower. Read your damn law. You wrote it. Read your law. The so-called whistleblower is not a whistleblower under your law. The so-called whistleblower's complaint right here is not covered by the statute that you wrote. The phone call between President Trump and President Zelensky is not covered by the statute you wrote. President Trump is not covered by the statute you wrote. And the so-called whistleblower is not anonymous under the statute, is he? So the president's lawyers will finally get a shot at the whistleblower who never wrote this complaint. And they will get to ask him. They will get to say, I know his name, I'm not allowed to say. I know all about him, I'm not allowed to say. But it's time that sham comes to an end. A president gets to confront the person who's challenging him. Now, here's some of the questions for Mr. Whistleblower. Who was involved in writing the complaint? Who advised him to use the whistleblower statute to create this false protection? Did he speak to Adam Schiff or Nancy Pelosi or any Democrat members of Congress directly or through surrogates? What did he discuss with Schiff's staffers who formerly were the NFC? Did he speak to, we want to know yes or no, Lieutenant Colonel, or Mr., may I say, Vindman, or not? We want to know all about this whistleblower because the whistleblower wants to bring down the President of the United States. Moreover, we want Hunter Biden.
Yeah, we do.
We want Hunter Biden, not because of anything in our imagination or right-wing conspiracy theories, because you folks at Politico and the New York Times and other places, you've told us about Hunter Biden. You've told us about the Bidens. Don't we have a right as the American people to know if the individual who may be nominated as the Democrat nominee for President of the United States is a crook? Is that the only family in American history who's not to be investigated? I don't think so. And one other thing. This is the so-called whistleblower's complaint. This has been Adam Schiff's playbook from day one. Adam, did you write this? Adam, were you involved in writing this? Because Adam needs to be a witness too. We want to know all about Adam. We know he's a liar, but we need to put him under oath under penalty of perjury. When you go through this complaint, you can see this was Adam Schiff's playbook from day one, page after page after.
Wow. What have we done?
So, and it should be over, but it's not over. Hang on. Do you want it to? Do you really want it to be over, Leah?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if this thing passes the House, which is why I can't understand why they are trying to impeach Trump, and it goes to the Senate, I've got some favorite senators, Rand Paul being one of them. Yeah. Do you have any idea what is going to happen here when it goes to the Senate?
I hope it'll be great.
It's going to be, people are going to go to jail, man. It's going to be great. And you just said here on this show earlier, we get 1 day. Here's the good news, Jimmy Jordan. We're going to get 1 day to call whoever we want, and that is going to be the be-all, end-all day, I think.
It could be good. Donald Trump says he wants a hearing. And Donald Trump says he wants to call everybody.
Yeah, I do.
He wants to call everybody, and I think that this could be a fireworks display like you've never seen before. So we'll see where it goes. But by the way, this chick here, Fiona Hill.
We have a hippo named Fiona at our zoo who has gone worldwide famous. So when you say Fiona and I see this lady, all I can see is the hippo.
As we previously mentioned, the Gateway Pundit says Roger Stone actually outed Fiona Hill in 2017 as a deep state spy in the White House. So if Trump had listened to Roger Stone then, she wouldn't even be there and it wouldn't even be a thing. Under H.R. McMaster, the George Soros connected traitor was outed by Israeli spies, as was reported at by Stone at InfoWars. Adam Schiff and the Democrats needed Hill to speak for 11 hours in their basement interview. Hill had zero knowledge of the call President Trump had with the Ukraine president and only heard rumors. Democrats don't care. What a clown show. According to her resume, Fiona Hill worked for the George Soros Open Society Institute from 2000 to 2006, just 13 years ago.
That's a long time to be
But there's more. She has connections to Christopher Steele.
Oh, boy.
According to people familiar with their relationship, the two British-Russian hands are not exactly friends, but they have known each other for years. Beginning when Hill was working on Russia at the National Intelligence Council, Steele was on MI6 Russian desk. She had a high opinion of Steele.
And thought he was very smart.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Exactly. Exactamundo. We're going to get to that in just a second. I think... Oh, yeah, this is what I was talking about. The GOP leader drops bomb on Schiff, points to committee rule that must allow Republicans day to call witnesses. So we'll see how that works out.
That's going to be great.
Yeah, we'll see. We want to move on to some more exciting news, but while we're still on the Bidens. Okay, so if you guys didn't know this, Hunter Biden fathered a kid, and this just came out this week.
Hang on, though, because it's totally fine to father a kid. So that's not explained. You just said he fathered a kid.
That was my next
line.
You said hang
you
on,
didn't
but
finish
I wasn't.
it, though.
I literally, guess because you interrupted me.
Sorry.
Hunter Biden fathered a child, but...
You said in case you didn't know.
In case you didn't know.
Okay.
And you go ahead and tell him.
No.
Tell him.
No. He left his wife of, 21 years?
It's really weird. He left his wife of 20 years, and then he dated his...
brother-in-law's... No.
His brother's widow.
Yeah. His brother died.
Yeah.
And then he goes and makes moves on his sister-in-law.
And then while he's dating the sister-in-law,
that's creepy.
This other chick that he got pregnant has a baby. And then he denies the paternity, and she has to sue.
And then we get a test. Give me the test.
And the DNA test.
You my baby daddy.
And then the DNA test says that he is the father.
You are the father. Maury Povich told you.
Well, yeah, or Jerry Springer. The Bidens are Jerry Springer. And this is what they warned. They warned that Joe Biden couldn't be presidential.
Well, we were hearing about this early on, and I kept going they kept saying there's stuff. There's stuff. The Bidens, they should not put Joe forward because all this stuff is going to come out.
Right.
This is the stuff.
Well, then he married some lady that he only knew for 6 days after that, after he broke up with the widow. And
it was love at first sight.
The woman who wants Secret Service protection for her child is suing to get child support. Wants some of that Ukrainian money. So the mainstream media ignores Hunter Bud's $130 million taxpayer cookie jar raid. The Washington Examiner on Thursday reported that an investment firm central to Hunter Biden's financial dealings received more than $130 million in federal bailout loans while Joe Biden was vice president. Rosemont Capital, named after the former Secretary of State's John Kerry's 90-acre Hines family estate outside of Fox Chapel, Pennsylvania, was founded by Hunter Biden, Christopher Hines, and longtime friend Devin Archer. Mm-hmm. Watch out for those slippery ketchup guys.
Hines.
According to what really is Hines.
Is it really
John
Hines
Kerry?
People? Okay.
Yeah, John Kerry married into
Hines 57 company.
Just Heinz.
Well,
just
but Heinz 57 is how we know about it. So if you want to say
Heinz is ketchup.
Heinz 57 is the same company as
Yeah.
Heinz ketchup. So I'm saying
Yeah.
for people's sanity's sake, just say Heinz 57.
Just Heinz.
Leah.
Whatever.
Oh my God.
Okay, according to the report, Rosemont was just one of 177 firms to participate in Obama's 2009 term asset-backed securities loan facility, which issued billions of dollars in favorable loans to investors who agreed to buy bonds from struggling banks. And this is covering...
including college and auto loans.
Yeah, so we
Jeremy B says, nothing wrong with talking to your widowed sister-in-law. It's a common practice in the Bible. Well, okay, you're not wrong there. You're absolutely not wrong there. But I would add to this. When you're a part of a well-known family that may or may not have ties to intense corruption, and you were sleeping with another lady and fathered a baby with her, it might be
weird.
A little bit weird because... like, if you're associated with the Clintons at all, then I would be thinking, did you have your own brother killed off to hook up with his wife?
Huh. After 2 weeks of public testimony revealed that Democrats' impeachment case against President Donald Trump is largely made up of hurt feelings and foreign policy disagreements, the White House and allies say Trump is looking forward to a trial of some length in the Senate. What is happening?
I don't know.
Oh, I want as the first witness because, frankly, I want a trial. You know, I could have it.
You want a trial?
Whatever I want. Oh, I would. Look, number one, they should never, ever impeach. This is not impeach. I watched 5 people on your network yesterday say there's nothing here. Andy McCarthy. How about Ken, special prosecutor, special counsel? Ken Starr, he was fantastic. He said, there's nothing here. So, ready? Number one, there should never be an impeachment. This is not an impeachment. That phone call was totally appropriate, okay, totally. But assuming these people are as sleazy as they are, and Nancy Pelosi is totally incompetent, she's absolutely lost. She doesn't know what she's doing. She hasn't done anything. She can't get anything approved. Everybody's working on this, and they just got blown away because they put their witnesses up, and we're not going to get USMCA because
so you want a trial?
The farmers and everyone are going to vote against Democrats like you've never seen before. But if they do put it up because they're crazy, I mean, Adam Schiff is a nut job.
Okay.
That was the end of that clip, but it obviously went further.
Exactly. All right. He wants to be able to bring up witnesses like Adam and Schiff, like the whistleblower, like Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. Now remember, under an impeachment trial...
Can we bring up Obama? Can we bring up Hillary?
Under an impeachment trial, Donald Trump's lawyers, you don't have to rely on the Senate to interview people. His lawyers, like Rudy Giuliani, could really go after people.
I think Rudy Giuliani wants them to impeach him more than anybody so that he can...
I came to believe.
Do this.
I believe that is what I believe. To the best of my understanding, that is what I still believe. I believe.
I believe that.
I believe that. I think a sense something.
I think that.
I have no awareness or knowledge. I thought that.
How'd that make you feel, sir? So how did you feel?
And so I kind of sit here with a mix of emotions.
How did that make you feel?
I don't know.
It didn't feel like I was...
Yeah, I was presuming. I assumed that I was presuming. It was my assumption. I just assumed it would be pure, guesswork on my part, speculation. I don't know.
Yep.
Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. It's all speculation.
Again, I don't recall President Trump ever talking to me about any security assistance, ever.
Did the president ever tell you personally about any preconditions for anything?
This is Sondland behind Leah.
Okay, so the president never told you about any preconditions for the aid to be released?
No.
Is it correct? No one on this planet told you that Donald Trump was tying this aid to the investigations? Because if your answer is yes, then the chairman's wrong and the headline on CNN is wrong. No one on this planet told you that President Trump was tying aid to investigations. Yes or no?
Yes.
You called President Trump to ask him, what do you want from Ukraine? He responded, I want nothing. I want no quid pro quo. I want Zelensky to do the right thing. I want him to do what he ran on. And what he ran on was fighting corruption, correct?
Correct.
President said, quote, "No quid pro quo. I want nothing. I want nothing. I want President Zelensky to do the right thing, do what he ran on," end quote. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That means it's all over.
If this were a prize fight, they'd stop it.
It's true. It is all over. It's so ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and I'm just gonna stop it. I'm pulling the plug. We're done.
Okay.
I can't handle anymore. My head hurts.
So the title of our show is about tying JFK to the deep state that is still attacking Trump. And since we did our JFK segment to start with, and you're going to finish here with the impeachment process here, maybe you want to tie that up with a neat little bow.
Well, here's another story. Jim Chung-Shing Lee, ex-CIA agent sentenced over China spying. So this came out about a year ago. There's Cherry Ching-Sung Lee, 55, left the CIA in 2007 and was recruited by the Chinese agents in Hong Kong. Prosecutors say he was then paid to divulge information on U.S. national defense. China is then said to have dismantled a network of informants. Lee is the third former CIA officer in less than a year to be sentenced for conspiring with China. He pleaded guilty in May to conspiracy to deliver national defense information to aid a foreign government, but prosecutors and defense lawyers disagreed over the extent of the crime. He's a U.S. naturalized citizen, seeking a lesser sentence than 10 years. Prosecutors say Chinese intelligence officers gave Lee hundreds of thousands of dollars and that he likely gave them all the information he had from his 13-year career in the CIA. But his defense team argued that it was never proved that the money came from China or that he had carried out plans to deliver government secrets. However, U.S. Attorney Zachary Telwiger welcomed Friday's sentencing, saying Lee sold out his country, conspired to become a spy for a foreign government, and then repeatedly lied to investigators about his conduct. The Justice Department says Lee was contacted by Chinese intelligence agents in 2010. They offered him money, promising to take care of him for life in exchange for required secret information. Hundreds of thousands of dollars were deposited into his Hong Kong bank account between May 2010 and 2013. Lee created a document containing information about CIA activities, including locations to which U.S. agents would be assigned. In 2012, FBI agents searched a hotel room in Hawaii registered to Lee's name and found a USB drive. Investigators found the document on unallocated space in the drive, suggesting it had been deleted. The search also revealed Lee to have a day planner and address book containing notes of intelligence provided by CIA agents, their true identities, operational meeting locations and phone numbers, and information about covert facilities. Lee was interviewed by CIA officers in 2012, during which he said he had met Chinese intelligence officers but concealed the fact that they had set him tasks. The Justice Department said, "How significant is this? The information provided by Lee is said to have helped China to bring down a network of informants between 2010 and 2012. About 20 informants were killed or jailed in that period. One of the most disastrous failures of U.S. intelligence in recent years."
Gosh.
He is not the only former CIA officer to be convicted of working with China. In May, former CIA spy Kevin Mallory was sentenced to 20 years in prison after being convicted of conspiring to transmit U.S. defense secrets to China. Former U.S. intelligence officer Ron Rockwell Hansen was sentenced in September to 10 years in prison. We have here a deep state, and we have here a real enemy, and the enemy is China. They are Chinese. And the same communist cabal that was running around trying to get things going under JFK,
right,
is just the same Hydra, new head. All right, Chairman Mao didn't have the same power in during JFK's time that he has right now.
Right.
But our CIA, obviously, when you see one of these guys and he is convicted, then it's supposedly the CIA is doing its job. But they're not the only ones that are, these three guys aren't the only ones selling out America. They're not the only ones. We have John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey. Remember, John Brennan and James Comey both were laughed about being communists in college. And John Brennan, I believe it was John Brennan who, when he was interviewing to join the CIA, he said, I've been a communist. And they just said, oh, yeah, fine, come on in.
It's fine.
So when you have
one
this,
less.
exactly, that's what I'm trying to get. When you have this treasonous cabal, and if anything, they have something to hold over you or something like that. When you have this treasonous cabal of deep state people going after President Trump, the same deep state people were going after JFK. Now, Lee Harvey Oswald was just a patsy, but he wasn't just a patsy for the JFK assassination. They were using him. They sent him as an asset.
They used him so many times.
They used him as an asset. They taught him Russia. They taught him Russian. They taught him Russian, and then they sent him to Russia.
They told him to put up this cover of being a communist. Like, he'd go out in public and hand out leaflets. He was literally trying to set his own stage for being a communist.
He said it, and that was the thing. Because why would he be allowed to stay in the military with these overt? He would go around and say, "I'm a communist," and and everybody would call him the red,
And he was so cocky, because you're only cocky like that when you think that you are on the inside. Exactly. They had made him believe that he was some upper echelon, only he knows this stuff, and he's like highest clearance, because he was sent down with this cancer killing thing to kill Castro. It wasn't successful, but he was the guy that they sent. So is Lee Harvey Oswald at least an attempted assassin? Yes. Okay. Did they try to use him as a sharpshooter for Castro? No, because he wasn't that good. No. He got like a C on his report card for being a shooter.
Exactly. So my conclusions are the same CIA and FBI and deep state that went after and covered up JFK's death is going after President Trump. Right. Just some random news while we're here before we sign off.
Are you going to do your other sing songs even though we're at 2 hours?
I think we can hold them off on that. I think there was just one more thing. Oh yeah, the Democrats had a debate this week.
Oh yeah,
Tulsi Gabbard really brought the hammer down, but I think I'm going to play this one, and this has nothing to do with anything. But this is another story that happened this week, where a high school voted to allow boys in the girls' locker room, and you're going to see the transgender boy who is in favor of it and a swimmer who is upset.
Yeah, it passed. It passed. I'm really hoping they vote for it. It's definitely going to be a step forward in progress. I'm really excited if they vote for it. A bit nervous though, as always. Just you never know. But it's definitely a first step forward in many more steps. It's a great policy. Unfortunately, it's not everything we want, such as talking about even the small things like changing the name on your student ID, which you're required to wear at all times. So I'm really hoping that the district makes the right decision here and votes it. Yeah, it passed. It passed.
And how does that make you feel?
I'm ecstatic. I'm sorry. I
feel uncomfortable that my privacy is being invaded. As I am a swimmer, I do change multiple times naked in front of the other students in the locker room, and I understand that the board has an obligation to all students, but I was hoping that they would go about this in a different way that would also accommodate students such as myself.
Why does a transgender student have to change and have to be with girls,
right?
Biological girls. When you have one or two or three, you don't change a policy for thousands.
You could create a separate space for them.
That person gets a separate space so that everyone has a safe space. She no longer has a safe space.
Right.
There's no scientific consensus that boy is a real girl. Mm-hmm. That's not science.
Right.
We don't know. And that girl doesn't feel safe now or feel comfortable. lots of dirty boys could now claim to be girls, grow out
Right.
their hair, and
Right.
just be these weird pervs.
Right.
And there's no litmus test to say you really are a girl.
Exactly.
So, there you have it.
And I've said this before. They almost have to. So, like at my uncle's gym, they have. I think they call it a transgender changing room. But really, all that it means is you walk into a hallway, and on the right are the lockers for you to put your stuff, and on the left are literal individual bathrooms and showers. Okay, so you go into your little space and you shut the door, and there you are by yourself. Now, once you come out with your bag and stuff, and then you put it in the locker, that's the thing that's going to have to happen. That's the only
Individual,
fair
yeah.
thing. If they're going to do anything at all, that's what has to happen. You guys
So we
back
only
here
do this little new
on Sunday, either premiered or whatever. Maybe we'll do a show tomorrow. Who knows? All right, I'm pressing the ending here. Thank you for the letter, Simon, and thank you for the ham, Robert Bone. I'm very excited about that, like really excited about it. So, God bless, and I'm pressing the ending right now. Bye, guys.
Let's go all alone. Your